All right, you guys, today we have a 61, what is Bel-air? Chevy Bel-air, and customer brought it in because the turn signal is only working to one side and not the other side. Today I'm going to show you how to diagnose it and fix it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop this off. And this simply has clips that holds it on. And we're going to remove these 4 screws here and the 3/4 nut here, and get a puller, and we're going to remove the steering column, or I'm sorry, the steering wheel. Okay, so we got the nut off now, and as you can see, this will not move. So it's held down, it's basically pressed into this collar. So what we're gonna use is a steering wheel puller, and we're gonna put that on and then remove the steering wheel. Okay, so how this works is you'll assemble this part, and this basically will, this part right here is gonna sit right there on the center, and you're gonna use this thing right here, and this goes into the end of this threaded rod. And then you'll screw into these holes, which are threaded holes right there. And you'll line that up. And I'll show you here in a minute how it looks and how it works. Okay, so I'll use the long bolts so you guys can see more in there. Because if I use the smaller ones, of course, it would be a lot closer to the steering wheel and you wouldn't be able to see how it's set up. But that gives you an idea how to set it up. Okay, so just put the socket on here and start ratcheting down, and the force between this pushing into the column shaft and this is lifting, it's going to pull the steering wheel off, basically off that shaft, just like that. There you go. Okay, so if you can see the issue that we're having here, you see that little rod right there? That's our switcher right there, our selector, and it's not staying inside the ring here. So we're going to have to remove the ring and see what's going on. Okay, so to take this thing off, we're going to use a flathead to pull that one out right there, and that basically will take this loose. Real quick, guys, of course this one's been modified. It's got cruise control on it. Somebody took a cruise control handle and welded it to the factory. But this, if you can see, it unscrews like that. Boom, that'll come out like that. This basically come out, and there you go. That's what it looks like. Now, these holes right, that little slot right there is very important. That one right there. I'm going to show you why this thing wasn't working. And you see that ball right there? This you see that cable right there? And that cable, I'm going to show you what that cable runs and what it controls and why it's important that you line all this back up. Apparently somebody went in here and tampered with it. They replaced this, but they didn't put it on correctly, and that's why it wasn't working, and they couldn't figure it out. They thought it was the switch below, and probably the switch below was probably fine, but they went ahead and swapped it, and they just led on to another occurring problem because they never fixed this. This has got to be fixed first, then you can set the one down there, and I'll show you all that in a minute. Okay, so we got this thing cleaned up. Now it's ready to go back in. So we need to make sure that this piece right here goes over that ball. So you make sure that that goes over that ball. Another thing I want to show you real quick is your adjustment for this thing is right here. So sometimes you'll have to adjust this. You have to squeeze these. They're pop metal, so don't get crazy on them. Just squeeze them just a little bit to keep that tension up so this thing doesn't slide out and this cable won't slide off. So just remember that little opening right there goes over the ball. And then you need to make sure that, oh, real quick, you need to make sure that this is back on and the flat big side goes down. Okay, as you can see, we got it all back together, and you can see it clicks like it's supposed to. Okay, so now we got it all back together, and as you can see, it works like it's supposed to. That little ball's inside that little chamber. See how it moves up, moves down, and as it moves, you can see in here, it's moving that rod up and down, and that's pushing that wire up and down. Okay, so now we're down here to the bottom of the column, and as you can see, that wire, that cable that's running through there is the cable that I showed you that's up top. So to adjust this, you'll push down on the center of this, and that'll bring your cable in and out. So again, you push down on this tab on this side, and it right now it's pinching the cable in there. So if you push this down, you can adjust it. And you can also see you have adjustment here. So you'll put it in there and then adjust it accordingly, so you get left and right coming out of this thing. There's this turn signal. All right, you guys, so in this case, to reach that one back there, you'll have to drop the column, and that's where you'll install the screw to fasten that selector down. All right, so I'm gonna have to remove the brake switch here to get access to that top bolt. So just make it easier on yourself, remove the brake switch, and all you do is just loosen that up, come right out of there. Okay, so we got it all mounted down, found some nice screws to work. So now we can go try it. So I left the steering wheel off so you guys can see how it works. So basically when you push down on this, it pushes down on the cable, which turns this side on, which would be the left side. And then go to the right one comes on. And there you go, guys. Now we can put it back together. First thing is going to go in is your horn button. And you guys, I would probably disconnect the horns, because otherwise working on this thing, it's going to be going off, because if you ground it out, as you can see the little sparks, it's grounding out. Turning on the horn, I got them unplugged because I got tired of listening to it, but I should have told you that from the beginning. Unplug the horns, that way you're not waking up the neighborhood if you're doing this at night. Okay, guys, so I'm putting the steering wheel back on. One important thing, you see this right here? This is called a turn signal cancellation. And it needs to land between here and here. So when you're turning and you turn back, it knocks it either from left to right, it knocks it back into center and turns it off. Just so you know, if your car doesn't do that, it's probably missing this piece. All right, these are two separate pieces. And if you see it's got a little notch out right there, I'm sorry, this camera is not wanting to cooperate here. Okay, you see the little notches? They gotta line up, so make sure they line up. And you can put it in. And FYI, guys, I should have said something earlier. Make sure you unplug your battery, because if you don't, this thing will be arcing out, your horn will be blowing, and you're gonna wake up the neighbors, and probably not gonna be a good thing. But this thing will go in there over your horn button, and you'll line it up. Your screw holes will line up like that. And you'll gently set that in there. And you're gonna grab this next piece, and then that'll go on next. Okay, that's tight. Now you'll put this on. And FYI, guys, I also forgot to tell you, I'm sorry, I get in the groove here and I get carried away. But before you pull your steering wheel, put you a piece of tape here and mark your line, so you know exactly when you pull it off, you know exactly where to put it back on. In this case, if I have to, I can realign it just by driving it, but you guys need to mark it with a piece of tape. That way you know where it goes back, and then you don't have any problems. And then of course tighten this down, and then put the cap back on and take it for a spin and just check everything, make sure everything works. All right, as you guys can see, go left and then straighten out. See how it turns off? Go right, turn your wheel, blinker turns off like it's supposed to. All right, guys, so this job, I would say from start to finish will take you, depending on how good you are at working on cars, it should take you around no more than 3 to 3.5 hours. As long as you don't run into any difficulties, no more than 4 or 5 hours to finish. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned some tips.